Welcome to another episode of the Back Catalogue podcast. This is the podcast where we, and by we I mean me, Apple, and my co-host / co-founder Vincent, we dive into the streaming services and we tell you whether or not Uncharted is the best movie of 2022. Vincent, we are here.
We're here.
Oh, what an exciting day. It's me, it's you. It's a Friday night. We're hanging out together.
That's right. It's a Friday night and we're
people
talking...
are outside. We're inside together.
I thought you mean like people are directly outside your window.
No. That'd be hilarious. It's just like friends of the show just out there just like, hey, we're watching it live.
With banners and things. Like, you know this is not... we're not recording you.
It's like the...
This is not Sunrise.
Yeah, dude. We got better content than Sunrise, I hope.
That's right.
But I mean,
they're like,
they're
come on
money.
this show because you made a podcast about like something that a professional actually does, but we'll get you instead of the professional. That's what 90% of those shows are.
Yeah, dude. I'll be honest with you. I love nothing more than morning television and going into the trending areas on Twitter because it's all hot garbage. Because it's all of it is literally just people just speculating on things.
Yeah, that's right. Who have no right to be speculating because they have no knowledge or information.
Yeah, but like we feed off of toxicity, specifically me. So that's just me. But Vincent, we are here today because don't tell anyone don't ask really, but don't also tell anyone like what we did here. But we got 2022's version of Uncharted, the movie. We got it and we watched it.
Yeah, we managed to find it online. So through the back channels of the internet. We had to go through toll gates and whatnot, but we got there.
We had to pay for it through like Ethereum and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We used 50% Ethereum.
That's right. We used, decentralized finance for the specific purpose of it being decentralized finance.
Bro, we're on the dark web because, people probably ask, how do you guys keep doing it? How do you guys, you got all these videos, over hundreds of videos plus over hundreds on the Patreon. We've pretty much got like 100 on the Patreon if you want to go spend $2 a month. But they're saying, how do you do that when you guys only get like 23 views? It's because we're viral on the dark web. Heads are looking for organs and they see, what's the back catalogue? They click on that. And while they're organ shopping, they're listening to the back catalogue. And that's where we found Uncharted 2022's very own.
That's right. Because we were shopping for organs.
How else are we going to make money, man?
Exactly. I don't have enough to sell anymore. So we can't keep this going for that much longer.
That's why I can't actually see Vinny. It's not because of any pandemic things. It's because if he literally leaves that seat that he's on, he will die. The man's has got no organs. The only organs he's got is enough for him to be seated on that chair.
That's right.
But Vincent, we did 2022's very own. We didn't do any other, year's very own of Uncharted.
No,
we didn't do the 2018 fan film starring the incomparable Nathan Fillion.
No, I didn't even know that was a thing.
No, we didn't do the. Let me see. I'm pretty sure there's more Uncharted things. We didn't do the 2018 Uncharted fan film starring Stephen Lang as Sully. We didn't do that.
I don't know who Stephen Lang is, but no, we didn't do that.
And we didn't do the 2018 fan film starring Ernie Reyes Jr. as El Tigre. We didn't do that.
Ernie Reyes Jr.?
Yeah, we didn't do that one, did we?
Yeah, I don't know who that is, so if I don't know, how have we done that?
Yeah, look, we're people of God over here. We don't go onto the dark web. We did 2018's very own Uncharted, the fan film, starring the incomparable Nathan Fillion.
That's right. Friend of the incomparable Liam Neeson.
Can I give you just a bit of an understanding of what we're going to be doing here? And then can I hit you with the facts?
You can do exactly that.
All right, let me look at the notes that I sent you. All right, so we're going to give you guys a basic synopsis of this. What is it, a 13-minute movie?
14 minutes and 46 seconds.
14 minutes and 46 seconds. So that's something that you can pause this video. You can go watch it now. You can come back and talk with us. just talk with us. You just talk on the other side. You can even mute us and just talk to like your friends. But just have us on in the background so we get the views. Now we're going to talk about the actors. We're going to talk about the actual scenes going on in this. Did this meet what we wanted for an Uncharted movie? We're also going to talk about why this works and why this doesn't. And why these short films, I don't know if you've seen many of the short fan films that are on YouTube, but why some of them work and why some of them don't.
Yeah.
And then we're going to just speculate on whether or not we think, after seeing this, that if Tom Holland's Uncharted is actually going to work. Will it be the smash hit that we want it to be? But Vincent, I'm going to give you the facts, all right?
All right, hit me with them.
So it's got an 8.5 out of 10 on the IMDb. It's actually on the IMDb.
Oh, it's on the IMDb?
Yeah.
Far out.
So it's, as I said, did I say this? It's directed by Alan Ungar, he's got 27.9 thousand subscribers on his channel, and it has 10 million views from 3 years ago, 2018's very own. From my understanding, it has 0 dislikes as well.
Well, that's because YouTube removed the number of dislikes.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, you can't see numbers anymore.
Oh, that's upsetting, man.
Yeah, because I know you like seeing the dislikes on our videos.
Yeah. I mean, we don't get likes either, so it's all good anyway.
That's right.
But Vincent, I'm going to give you the synopsis and we're going to get into this. Treasure hunter Nathan Drake finds himself captured while searching for the lost treasure of Fleur de la Mar. And we're here. Vincent, do you want to just give these people that I'm looking at right now, do you want to give them a basic synopsis of what goes down in this movie?
So what goes down in this 15 minutes is basically Nathan Drake has been kidnapped by they're in Mexico, so I'm assuming Mexicans.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we didn't check their passports or anything
I
like that.
didn't check their passports, but I'm assuming. And he's getting beaten up by Sammy Davis Jr., whatever that bloke's name was.
Ernie Reyes Jr. That's Ernie Reyes Jr.
Ernie Reyes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then he does some Uncharted things and says, "Oh my God, I found it. I found the treasure." That's it.
That's exactly right. And that's the movie. Now, Vincent, I just want to quickly touch on. So I talked about the characters just then. Really, the two main ones that I want to talk about are the ones that get a lot of the screen time, and that's Nathan Fillion as Nathan Drake, but also Stephen Lang as Sully.
Oh, that's who Stephen Lang is. Okay.
Stephen Lang. Or it could be Stephen Lang, but I think it's Stephen Lang. Now, Stephen Lang, for those who don't know, I believe he was the guy from Avatar. He was like the Colonel.
I haven't seen Avatar.
Okay. He was in the movie that you definitely haven't seen, Don't Breathe, where he plays a blind man. Now, he's definitely not blind in this, but if you ever watch that, Don't Breathe is a movie with the biggest amount of trigger warnings I've ever experienced. Like, it is just a movie that takes you on a wild ride that you don't enjoy any of it.
Okay, I'll make a note to specifically not watch that.
Like, just for those who have watched it, man, that turkey baster scene, I don't know what they wanted to do, but it stayed with me. I'm talking about there's a turkey baster scene, and it stayed with me, you know?
Right, it stayed with you. Oh, you're a grown man now, it's just with you.
When I'm seeing basting of meats, I'm usually like happy because that thing's going in the oven, I'm going to eat it up, but this basting of meats was insane. But I want to talk about Nathan Fillion playing the titular Nathan Drake. What did you think about this man in this role, Vincent?
I think he was 85% perfect. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the only thing was, I mean, Nathan Fillion is an older actor now, so he just seems a bit older than Nathan Drake. He also... So if we're just going to compare him with the video game character, which is obviously, you know, you're never going to get the same head as the video game character because, like, Mans is a video game character. Mm-hmm. But he's a bit big. Like, Nathan Fillion is a big man. And when he was fighting all those dudes... Yeah, he does, but he's tall and he's built. And, yeah, Nathan Drake in the game seems a little bit smaller, a little bit skinnier.
From what I'm hearing, Vincent, you could see that if Nathan Fillion was like, this movie is only a 15-minute, 14-minute, 46-second movie, so it doesn't get into too much Uncharted stuff, but it does get a bit of the heart of the characters. So what we don't see is any of the parkour, any of the jumping from things.
Well, that would be less believable. A little bit of it.
You see a little bit of jumping,
which
that's true. Yeah,
that's right.
Do.
And
that's
that
right.
part basically sold me on, this is the best Uncharted movie ever made. Because that's absolutely what would happen. I'm going to get into it now. Mans jumps just straight out of a window. He goes, he sees people coming up the stairs. And he goes, well, it looks like I'm jumping out the window. And so he just jumps out the window. And you're thinking, man's going to drop, he knows there's a pool there or something, or there's a hedge. He's just straight on the ground.
Onto the concrete, yeah.
Onto the concrete. He's up and he's shooting folk. And
that is very Uncharted.
That's 100% Uncharted.
Yeah.
You play the game, that I'm pretty sure that thing happened verbatim. Like whatever he said in that scene, they said in the game.
The thing that I was going to point out was if he was doing the thing where he's off a cliff and there's rocks falling, he's moving fast. I can't see that from Nathan Fillion.
No, that's right.
But those sorts of things where it's him jumping out of a window or him getting up from being beaten up, I can 100% see that from Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
I also think the one thing that I think is great about this is that he just used what I'm assuming is his normal voice. He didn't try to go for anything different because Nathan Drake has that's right. But what he did do was he picked up on the subtle things. So not really subtle, but the little things like the way Nathan Drake says no or oh crap, like those sorts of things, and he brought that dialogue into this, which makes you think, makes the true fans, me. No, you don't have to be a true fan, but it brings that character to life, even though it's not an exact representation of the man's.
Yeah,
I think he was really good, and another reason that I liked him a lot in that role was because although Nathan Drake, he does a lot of crazy stuff, and there's been 4 games about him, plus all those like PS Vita classics, but he's often quite dumb in the way that he approaches things and just winds up hurting himself a lot.
Yeah, because Mans is just interested in getting the treasure. He's interested in finding the clues. But Mans will just fall out the window where there's stairs directly across from him. He just had to open the door.
Yeah.
And go down the stairs.
He takes the hardest path.
That's right.
He takes the hardest path from A to B. He just jumps right into B and just hits his face just straight through it. Now, so I really enjoyed the Nathan Drake character. Now the Sully character, I think the age matched, but Mans is just an old man with a cigar in his mouth.
I thought he was not too bad.
Mm.
I thought he was pretty good. I mean, look, he's an old man with a cigar in his mouth, but the thing where he's just like the part where he said at the end, so when are we going to crack this bracelet open? And we seem to be doing a lot of that, just like cracking things open. And I was like, that's 100% Sully.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what sold me on him. Because he probably wasn't the perfect fit, but I mean neither was Nathan Fillion. So I think it was pretty close to as good as I could get.
If I'm, and I want you to search this up so you can just agree with me here, Vincent. If I'm picking a Sullivan, especially in a role like this when we're going for an older Sully, I'm taking Bruce Campbell. And search up Bruce Campbell.
Of Campbell's Soups?
Of Campbell's Soups.
Oh, yeah, he's Evil Dead Man's. Evil Dead.
But search up him in Burn Notice. Because he'd be wearing like Hawaiian shirts and whatnot in that show. Is he wearing Hawaiian shirts?
He's wearing Hawaiian shirts, yeah.
Think about this man with a white hair and a moustache.
Yeah, probably. They were probably good. He's... I don't know about... I mean, I've only seen him in Evil Dead.
Mm.
But I don't know if his acting would fit as well. I don't know.
I mean, this will make you love him even more, Vincent. He was meant to play Mysterio in the 4th Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie.
See, a Mysterio, I can see him as a Mysterio.
He is a bit of he's a playful fella. Maybe he's too playful for a Sullivan.
That's what I'm thinking. Sullivan is like, he's cynical. He's like, bro, how do I keep getting roped into this? And he's like, oh yeah, like the millions of dollars that I may get. And that's why.
Yeah. And you know, you maybe you're right in that. Maybe I'm thinking, and this is the thing, and I think this is what this movie does well, is that it doesn't just go for the looks. It does get a bit of that element, but it goes for actors who portray those roles well.
Yeah, no,
maybe I'm thinking too much of the looks for Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. I don't even think the looks would be that good for Bruce Campbell. I don't even think that'd be that similar.
Dude, it'd be good, man. It'd be good. You seen him in Burn Notice with the Hawaiian shirts?
No, I don't even know what a Burn Notice is.
That's because you're strictly out in the sun for 15 minutes. You get the vitamin D, you get back in. You're not getting burnt.
That's right.
Now, I want to talk about some key scenes, some bits that we enjoyed very quickly in this one. And I want to know, when I was watching this, I thought that this was your favorite bit. But I want to get your perspective because I might be completely wrong.
All right.
After Nathan Drake jumps out the window, it goes into like video game mode where the screen expands and the camera goes behind him as if you're playing a third-person game, like the Uncharted game. And when I saw that, I was like, Vincent's going to say that he loves this. Am I correct in thinking such a thing?
Yeah, it was fine.
Because I really enjoyed that.
Oh, no, I thought it was good, but my favourite part was when he jumped out the window. That was 100% the best part. Because that one, because the whole movie prior to that, which that was maybe like 14 minutes, about 12 minutes in. The thing's like 14 minutes, 11, 12 minutes in. And at that point, I was going, "Oh, I wonder how Uncharted is this Uncharted fan film by friend of the show, whatever his name was." And as soon as he jumped out of that, whatever. As soon as he jumped out the window, I was like, "Tick, this is it. This is Uncharted."
Yeah.
But I did appreciate the video game angle because that's a bit of a nod to it being a video game.
Yeah, and people be like, I remember that from the video game when you're playing the video game.
Like when people shot at me from point blank range and missed.
And I was able to run up and just punch him in the head and not get shot. The thing about that approach to this and the use of that, when they transition to that video game style, that works in this movie because it's a short film and it's just a way to give fans just a little bit of a tease of what they like.
Yeah.
But in a full movie, you can't. Maybe you do like a little scene with it, but it has to be
cinematic. It has to be cinematic because this is a fan film. You know this is a fan film. You're not going into a cinema and watching this.
And that's what I really wanted to get into about, which we'll talk about a bit later in more depth, is that these fan films and shorter films can get away with a lot more because they're exactly that.
Yeah.
They don't need to be cinematic masterpieces. They don't need to have great spectacle. And in fact, a lot of the fan films that are done, there's this, I was watching some fan films just briefly, but there's this Last of Us one and it's just done in the woods. And they have really good makeup on the, especially for the clickers, but the majority of it's just done in the woods. And you can tell that these people just went to a national park and they were just running around with toy guns. Yeah. But because it's a fan film, you're like, oh, these are just dudes just doing it on their own backs. Yeah. So it's fine.
But there's also, there's not the expectation of this is going to be a polished piece of content.
And without spoiling it, that's where I think that the Uncharted movie, the starring, the incomparable Tom Holland, may fall down as well.
Well, first things first. I mean, the only thing I've seen about this movie is I was driving today. I went out my house, which was a big thing for me. I got a badge.
That's big,
and everything. And I saw a bus and it had Uncharted 2018 starring the incomparable Nathan Fillion. No, it had Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg in there. And I'm thinking Mark Wahlberg is going to have to pull out some unbelievable acting for me to believe that he is Sully.
Yeah.
Mans hasn't even got the hair. But, I don't know if they're taking this. I don't know if this is going to be them when they were younger, because Tom Holland obviously looks much younger than Nathan Drake. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but Mark Wahlberg, man, Sully ain't jacked in these movies.
No, that's right. Well, that's the thing. Sully smokes cigars and drinks scotch all the time.
Yeah.
Man's is unhealthy. The fact that he survived and he's doing parkour things in these games is the most unbelievable part of the game.
That's right.
You know, there's monsters and Chintamani stones and bloody people coming back to life. But the fact that Sully is able to just keep up physically with the others when he smokes cigars every day is beyond reality.
No, it's not beyond reality. It's because there's a path and then there's whatever thing Nathan Drake does. Sully's just taking the path. Nathan Drake doing the dumb idiot things, and Sully's like, man, there's a bridge here. And he's swinging off ropes.
Yeah. Well, going back to what you were saying, I think they are taking, because I've seen the trailer, and they are taking an approach in which this is when Sully and Nathan Drake first meet, and Nathan Drake is a young kid, like barely 18.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
And Sully just like watched some Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary and is now eating like 15 protein pancakes for breakfast.
You know, Sully, he goes to bed at 7. He wakes up at 4 o'clock in the morning. He does his cardio. Then at 5, he does his gym session. And then he does, his stretching after that, because he's worked out 3 times before we've even woken up. Then he does, his time with his kids. Have you ever seen the Mark Wahlberg, What I Do in a Day? And it's like, there's no way Mans does that in a day.
Yeah, he gets up then, but before he has time with his kids, he tells the world, like, bro, I've done all this stuff and, like, you've just woken up. Are you serious?
And, like, if Mark Wahlberg is going to bed at 7 o'clock, like, do all those things before I wake up. You're missing out, like Simpsons didn't even start at 7 o'clock. You know what I mean? I probably did. So what I was going to say, though, was they are taking a younger approach, and it makes sense. One, because it makes sense because, Tom Holland is already with Sony with the Spider-Man films. So they've got him there.
He's hot property at the moment.
He's hot property, and also he is young, which means that if this works, they got a whole franchise that they can make around this.
I mean, at the rate Tom Holland's going, they're going to make 16 prequels. Because Mans is not aging quickly at all.
No, that's right. He looks real young.
Yeah,
and he's doing things out there. He's doing good things. So I am excited for this, but I do have worries. And
my main worries is about Mark Wahlberg.
From a character perspective.
Has there been a good video game movie?
Well, that's the thing. Has there? I don't think that there has. I'm trying to think of video game movies that I've watched.
Live action
Rampage. I went and watched Rampage. That was hot garbage. And I like big animals fighting other big animals.
Yeah.
Warcraft. I didn't watch that, but apparently that was garbage. I don't know. I can't. Oh, Doom. That was real bad. Starring the incomparable The Rock. Man's done 2 video game movies.
That's wild.
But yeah, there's been nothing of note that people are like. Well, I mean, I do like the Mortal Kombat movies.
Yeah, but they're not really good movies. They're just funny because they're kind of
they're campy and they're stupid and there's people fighting.
And then you got fatalities. That's all you're there for.
Which actually, after I get into this, that reminded me. Before we end this, just tell me to say that thing I was going to say. What I was going to say about Tom Holland's though, and this movie, a issue that I have with it is that the story that they're going for, without spoiling it too much for you and for the listeners, is that they're doing what happens in the 4th movie. So they're fine. Sorry, in the 4th game. So Nathan Drake's brother's going to be involved, which the fact that they're bringing Nathan Drake's brother into this now is a bit, how you going? Because we don't know this character yet.
Yeah.
But also that story is one of his biggest stories yet, where they're looking for the lost treasure that was on that ship that you find in the 4th game. I think you start with something more grounded with Nathan Drake for his first movie,
you just like he's at a friend's birthday party and they're doing like treasure hunts. He's going geocaching. That's what you got to start with. Yeah,
like like Nathan Drake and Mark Wahlberg's doing Escape Room.
They're just in the suburbs. Yeah.
So I don't know. Are they going? You're bringing in the brother. You're bringing in one of what I think is his most spectacular story, but you're doing this as your first movie. And I know that because he's a treasure hunter, he can just go do other things. But if you're doing something with such a big spectacle, man's just going to be getting chased all the time.
Yeah.
You're not going to have the opportunities for him to build up his name and then become, someone that's crazy in these streets. He's going to be crazy in these streets from the start. Everyone's going to know him.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I feel like this might be easier because it's just an action adventure movie. It's just an Indiana Jones type movie. Mm-hmm. The Mummy type movie.
The Mummy, yeah.
So I feel like they should be able to do a good job. It's not a video game movie that is a video game. It's a video game movie that's an action adventure, essentially.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and you're right. It can still be fun, even if it's not that good of a movie cinematically. It can still be a fun movie if they're just doing parkour and shooting things and flying out of planes
and falling out of windows.
Do you think, though, Vincent? I know that you haven't seen the trailer.
Yeah,
you've just seen the poster with Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's going to be any supernatural elements to this?
There has to be. If they don't do that, they haven't done an Uncharted movie.
But Uncharted, you've played Uncharted 4, is that correct?
I have, but I can't remember it.
That hasn't got any supernatural elements to it. It seems like it might. There's things that come up that make you think that it might, but it doesn't. The first three do.
Okay. The ones that stick in my mind the most are the ones that have supernatural elements to it.
I think that's a great addition to the Uncharted, because that's what makes it different from just he's more than Indiana Jones. And I know that Indiana Jones has some wild stuff in it. Yeah. But he's more than Indiana Jones because there's these weird and wacky things that are going on, including, these zombie-style creatures in one, Yetis in another one.
Yeah.
And, fire dudes, like dudes that are just on fire.
Like Burn Notice.
So I hope they do, but I don't think that they will. Because then it takes people out of it. Because what we're looking for now is we're looking for the Tom Holland profit train. It's going toot toot. It's going chugga chugga. Right? It's doing all those things. But if you throw supernatural elements in it and it becomes a potentially scary, there's some scary elements to it, that throws out some of the families that were going to go see it anyway.
Yeah.
If you do this as an M movie where heads get shot, but they don't die, they just get boo boos. You've got 4 films in there.
But isn't it an M-rated movie?
That's what I'm saying. If you do an M movie, but if you start throwing like supernatural elements where dudes are like, as they're turning into like zombies and whatnot,
is that MA things?
Well, I'm thinking that might be MA things.
Well, I mean, we have seen the movie early, so we should know this.
We do know exactly.
Well,
what happens.
We told them we just did that clickbait.
Yeah, well, we're trying to get views here, man. We'll do whatever we can.
Yeah.
And like, if you have links to the dark web and they like us over there, let us know, man. We'll set it up there. So, Vincent, very quickly before we finish, I wanted to say sometimes the short film sits a lot better than the extended movie. And the one example that I wanted to give that just came to my mind while thinking of this was, do you remember when they made the Mortal Kombat YouTube video? It's probably still out there.
Yeah, and it was that dude, the detective, and he was going through Jax.
No. Was it Jax who was the detective?
I don't know. There was someone who was going through all the different profiles and that kind of stuff.
He was, yeah. And,
that was nuts.
And there was people kept coming up dead. Like people kept dying and they kept going to the scene. And then you would see the scene. I think there was one where it was Johnny Cage versus Baraka. Yeah. And Baraka's just going wild and it's gory and it's all shot in one building. Yeah. And they're all in different rooms. But it is so perfect for a Mortal Kombat movie because they're not limited by having to make it an actual movie. It's just clips of cool things.
I was just about to say they're not. They don't have to create this narrative. They can create. They don't have to do the beginning, middle, and end. They can just chuck you in the middle. It's exciting, and you're there and you're gone, and you're like, oh, what happened before? What happened after?
That's exactly right. And I think that's why this Nathan Fillion's one, people are going to look at that and be like, why didn't they just do the Nathan Fillion's movie? Why didn't they just extend that to a full movie? And it's because you can't do that same thing over.
It's hard to create a narrative that is engaging for the whole hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever.
Yeah,
and it's hard to wrap up a story. It's hard to start a story. Mm-hmm. Chucking someone in the middle and making like an insane scene is easier. Not that I've done this. Like you look on IMDb, my directorial history is not as good as the likes of Steven Spielberg or this bloke that did this Nathan Fillion thing. But
yeah.
I would assume it's very difficult to do a whole thing as opposed to just chuck them in some crazy scene, something's happening, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because nothing has to even make sense. Because you can go, oh, well, it either happened before or after.
Now, before we get into this, and we should wrap it up here, Vincent, do you think that this Uncharted movie, the Nathan Fillion's one, is worth the free admission to YouTube to watch? Do you think that these people should watch it?
Yeah, and the good thing is, I don't even think they're allowed ads on this because, it's Uncharted, so you don't have to do ads.
That's exactly right. They can't make money off of this.
It's 100% worth it.
And what you should also do is make sure that if you're on YouTube and if you're watching this on YouTube, go down, click like, click subscribe, and also click that bell because that will tell you when we're going to be posting things. But just to help you out, it's every Sunday and Monday.
Essentially, that's what it is.
Do you think that Tom Holland's Very Own is going to be a good movie?
I think it is, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm pretty keen on... I like Tom Holland as an actor, and I'm pretty sure I'll just appreciate whatever he puts out there. I think he'll do a good job. And, yeah.
Vincent's a Tom Holland stan. I'm a pretty big Tom Holland stan. I also like Mark Wahlberg. That movie Pain and Gain where it's just muscles and grease on people. That's top 5 dead or alive. I don't think that this is going to be an amazing movie. I think that there's going to be a lot of crazy, and spectacular scenes where people are flying out of things. But I think that this movie will be limited by the fact that everything has been put into the trailer, which I know doesn't affect you, but people like me who watch trailers like idiots, we get affected by that. But the one saving grace for this movie, other than Tom Holland's, is the fact that Antonio Banderas is the antagonist of this movie.
Oh, that's wild.
And that's wild to me.
That is wild.
That could give it a 7.5 out of 10 alone just for Antonio.
Yeah.
Vincent, is there anything more that you'd like to say about Uncharted, the series as a whole, or these specific movies?
No, I mean, if you haven't watched the games or played them, like grab a friend, get them to play it and watch it, or you can play it yourself.
Well, and the Uncharted games were very much the first games that I can remember people saying, this is a game that you feel like you're watching a movie. Yeah,
I remember when I played, I don't know if it was the third one or maybe the fourth one, and I remember telling you, bro, I don't even want to play this game. I just want to watch it. I just want to watch it happen in front of me. I'm not interested in pressing buttons. Like, just press X to go like to the next scene
and that is fair enough because they do so well. The characters are made so well, and they're a bit corny and a bit like early 2000s with their jokes, but everything that goes on within the game, but also within those cutscenes, is spectacular. That you can feel like you're watching a movie. And with the PlayStation 4 one, the graphics were so amazing as well that it did feel like you were watching a movie too. Yeah,
that's right.
So Vincent, I think we told them enough. But I think you can tell them where they can find us.
All right, Apo alluded to it before, but we do have Patreon, and there's like thousands of episodes there. $2 a month, so you can support us, support our children, our families, and also, listen to thousands of minutes of us rambling about who the hell knows what. Mm-hmm. But if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Follow us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and if you're whatever your podcast app or YouTube you're on, whatever YouTube app you're on, if it's the YouTube app or I don't know, like what else is
just the dark web version of YouTube.
Whatever. There's links in the description for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So give us a follow, give us a like, give us a, just give us something, man.
Hey, talk soon.